How has management dealt with this concern?
Well, the way management deals with it, it's like almost like an underlying kind of threatening environment. You basically, you're made to understand you can never abandon your patient. Okay, you cannot walk away no matter what. So they have this protestation form that you're made to fill out, and the reason why you fill out that form is basically to cover yourself. Okay, for lack of a better word, to cover yourself. If an incident should occur, if you should forget to give a medicine, if you should forget not properly prepare a patient for the OR or to be discharged or anything at all which you were not able to do, by filling out that form, it means that you inform management that you were basically working under a tremendous amount of stress. The work was too much for you, felt overwhelmed. They were aware of it, and they did not support you in the way that they should, so you're trying your best. Does that mean you won't get into trouble if you don't do what you're supposed to do? You will still get into trouble, but at least they won't be able to fire you. You know, you won't be dragged, even if you're dragged into court for whatever reason, you at least recognize that you were in a situation that was compromised. You tried to advocate for yourself, but you really could not, because at the end of the day, you as a staff nurse have to stand by your patient and do your work. You cannot abandon your patient, because that would be a rule to kind of have your license be threatened. And you don't want to abandon your patient either, because as a nurse, the reason why you're nursing is because you care, right? So you're made to work in those ways, and you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Today is my turn, I'm overwhelmed. The next day is another nurse's turn. But the other key factor is that as when you're in a unit, you're working, you kind of help each other. You know, the nurse in charge may help you. The other nurse may help you if you happen to be the one overwhelmed. You know, so you're not alone in many ways, but yet you are alone.
Mm-hmm.
So technically speaking, you're not by yourself, but legally speaking, you're kind of alone, because push come to shove, those 6 or 7 patients you're assigned, if anything goes wrong with those patients, it's not the nurse who is helping you, it's not the person who is being nice to you, it's you. So protestation form must always be filled out.
How has inadequate staffing affected your shifts?
My shift, in the past, when I worked on the unit, I always had to stay over for about an hour or two. It was chaotic for a while, and basically you don't get a chance to be the kind of nurse you want to be. You really don't have a chance to be at the bedside. You don't have a chance to really interact with your patient or give them that extra care and presence that you really came into nursing to give, because you got to get all that you need done to be done, and you got to make sure to document. So with that in mind, the kind of care you want to give is compromised. My kind of care was compromised a lot, because I felt like I was being pulled in a million directions to do what I needed to do.
What steps have you taken when you dealt with inadequate staffing?
I filled out my form. I called nurse management to see if they can get someone. I complain a lot. And at the end of the day, you just kind of pace yourself, and you prioritize only on the most emergent thing. And like I said, you kind of learn really, really quick as a staff nurse, when you get into the situation of actually working, that the kind of care, going into the playroom with the patient to spend time with them, being able to sit at the mother's bedside and ask her outside of the patient. So if you notice something's wrong with the mother, to spend 3 or 5 minutes with the mom, to speak to the mom, you don't have that luxury. And you realize you cannot force that luxury, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for life and death situation. So that extra TLC you cannot give. So I had to compromise a lot, you know, and the majority of the time you don't get lunch, you don't get breakfast, you know, you eat quickly what you can, and you get back to work. You organize your work around what you need to do. And if it calls eating breakfast like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then that's what you do. If you're eating lunch